Yay! We're live.
We are live.
So much stuff going on. I'm losing tabs and screens and trying to make sure I have YouTube pulled up and everything else. Okay, there we go. All right, YouTube's up, StreamYard's up. We're up. We're running. And we're running at the new farm. Oh, see that segue? It's like I'm getting better at this.
Even though I got to dust a little bit of rust off here. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we've definitely had some stuff on our plate lately to take care of before we had a chance to kind of pull away and do a live stream and an update and everything else. I've been trying to keep up with some of the videos since we've been moving, some shorts here and there. So I got a funny one coming out for you guys once Mark's finished editing it, because I'm not good at editing.
I'm not good either. I just know how to slap things in places.
Well, you have a Mac. It makes it everything's easier on a Mac, apparently. According to my brother, Mac for video editing is the best.
Oh, I don't even use my Mac. I use my phone.
That's great.
So I guess the
shows you what I know. Shows you what I know. Jeez. So we're in the new facility where we're getting things going and underway. It's been exhausting.
Yeah.
Exhausting. We were pretty much living at the new facility the first week there. Mark flew back home to take care of some family stuff, but he's on his way back out here the first of the month to keep setting shit up because I'm slow. Now we're doing good. It's logistics. We ordered some racks. We got more racks coming in. More cables, more power supplies, more drops, whatever it may be, to get these initial 6 bus bars and racks up and going. So it's been an adventure in a learning curve. It's always a learning curve, isn't it? It's just you never stop learning.
Every turn that we're on, we are learning something new. It's pretty crazy, honestly. We're on the search for some more equipment on just necessities, like not like PDUs, splitters, all the little random things that you need to get these machines going. So not even more machines we're looking at this point.
We thought we were prepared.
Yeah. So if you guys have been in the Discord channel, right now we're a little more than halfway of the mine being fully operational. We expect to have what we need to get everyone online within the next day or so. So that everybody that's currently at the farm, I should say. So that, that'll be a work in progress, getting everybody up and running. But yeah, I mean, once everybody's up and running, it's time to look towards what's the next evolution of this build out really look like. Because, right now, as we stated in some of our videos while we were both there, what we're doing right now is just temporary. Luckily, everything that we're getting right now is going to go into what is going to be more permanent solution. Basically just taking the racks that we got, moving them over a little bit, starting to create hot aisles or something along those lines. Really what me and John are going to start focusing on once we have everybody 100% is, one, bringing in more hosting clients or helping those that are hosting with us right now expand that much more. And then airflow in this entire building.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So, we have AC technician was out there today. We have 4 25-ton units, a couple smaller 15-ton units. Just in the hosting space alone, we're looking to modify these AC units. Basically, we're opening up the panels and using the fans that are in the AC units to pull air out while replenishing with fresh air instead of circulating the air like a traditional AC unit would, where it's starting to drop in temperature here at night. Yeah, it's still in the 80s during the day, 90s during the day, but where it's dropping down 70, 72 at night, we're going to be utilizing these open AC units to kind of pull cool air in from the outside, just using the fans and dumping a lot of the hot air outside. So we're working on it. We have some electrical stuff going on in terms of fans, exhaust fans, and supply fans that were already pre-existing in the building that we're trying to utilize, and we're trying to make the best sense of the space as we possibly can. It's a long, narrow building. The power supply is behind me and on my green screen. That's kind of up on a mezzanine. So we have easy access to the power where we can just kind of run it along the ceiling and drop it wherever we want, which is fantastic. We're just trying to utilize the long, narrow rooms the best we can. We kind of talked about it previously in another picture, how we, instead of going the length of the building, we're going to make individual aisles, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, and go up and out with a lot of the heat. We felt like that would be the best use of the space, with power disbursement being the easiest to kind of lay out in that manner because it's already been done a little bit that way for us. So it's fun. Late nights, drinking, setting up racks and machines. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you brought up the transformers behind you. Maybe we should talk about basically talk about kind of what we envision going forward with these, as we need to make some adjustments, right? So one of the transformers, the furthest behind John, is a 1.5 megawatt, 1500 kVA. That's, you correlate the two together. 1500 kVA equals 1.5 megawatt, roughly. Yeah, way back there. We pointed it out on one of our teaser videos earlier. That is spitting out 240 straight out to the bus bars. And so what we're doing now is we have to figure out how to pass through 240, which when we initially started the farm, John found a creative way to do that by just making panels, basically it's like a sub panel or a panel you see in your home, things like that with the breaker switches and things like that. And so that's kind of what we're using right now. And you can see in some of the videos that we posted that shows the panel and things like that. The other one that's closer to John and then in the back of his picture is a 3.5 megawatt transformer / switchgear, which his head is really just covering. Yep, there you go. So that one is spitting out 480. And so if we bring that out to the floor, if we brought it down to the PDU level, it would be giving us 277 volt. And if any of you guys have watched BBT, they're currently in the process of switching out a lot of the PSUs on their S19s that they have to this 277 alpha PSU so they can increase the wattage. Yeah, 277 really isn't as efficient, especially for these miners, electrical wise. It doesn't make sense for us. So we're looking at like different solutions. And I just want to show you guys.
Well, how much does an alpha miner 277 PSU go for? Does anybody know? Right off the top of their head, give me a roundabout number.
About $400.
About $400.
Mm-hmm.
So 400 times, how many machines you say BBT is probably retrofitting?
He's at 5 megawatts right now. So, I mean,
312 machines.
360 times 5.
360 times 5. 1,800.
Mm-hmm.
So 1,800 machines. Let's say he gets a bulk discount from Alpha Miner, right? Because he's buying 1,800 of them. So let's say he's getting them for like $300 a piece. So he's still looking at $540,000
Just in PSUs.
Just in PSUs to switch over so he can utilize his 277 voltage. I'd rather go this route and buy the transformers and use a little extra wire. You know, that's initially what you're doing is you're creating one more extra step or point of resistance for power versus doing what he was doing or planning on doing and swapping out for the alpha miner. It's not saying that he's doing it wrong. He may be getting a far better deal than we realize he's getting on power supplies, or that may be the only option he has. It could be a time frame thing. I'm not knocking what BBT is doing. It's just we don't feel it's going to be the best option for us.
Yeah, no. So what we really should be saying is there are many ways to skin this cat, right?
Yeah.
To put it, that's not the best terminology, but essentially, the screwdriver fits in many different holes or something. I don't know. I don't even know where that one came from, but this is what we're thinking of how we're going to be doing our build out, especially when we start to utilize the 3.5 megawatt transformer. And keep in mind too, like this is not the last transformer that's in the building. This is just the two that we're starting off on. We also have another CT cabinet that's actually outside next to the transformer that is going to be feeding the field, that is feeding the building. And there's a pad there for another piece of the substation to come in and play a part, aka another transformer to come in and feed to where we can add another switch gear somewhere along the lines or do one of these step downs. What me and John are really having a conversation about currently is because what these will do is they'll take in the 480 volt from that 3.5 megawatt transformer, and they'll break it down to 415. So they step it down, right? And John, correct me once I start fumbling through this because this is not my area. And then they spit out 240, which would go then to certain PDUs. And we're talking to a couple different manufacturers on giving us a PDU that basically will take in 415. And we have a couple actually at the farm already. And then the PDU itself would spit out 240 for each of these machines to run. A lot of electrical, a huge electrical learning curve when you're talking about doing a build out. It's just not as simple as I'm just going to plug a breaker in and run some wire to get my 240. So these are things that me and John have had a hurdle in since we started basically. And we've been trying to figure out how do we pass through 240 in most cases, especially since we have the one transformer already that is just spitting out 240 at the bus bars.
Right. And I think we need to mention that the power in this building, it's an older building. So we're spitting out 3 hots in a ground and not 3 hots of neutral in the ground. So even then, some of these PDUs are set up for a neutral. And we don't have that neutral. We have a ground, and you can't just tie the neutral off to the ground. It needs that return phase. So, some modification needs to be done right now for the 240 side of the building. It is 3 hots in the ground. It's 3-phase power. We're only pulling off of 2 of the phases, and we're alternating per drop. So we have 3 drops. So if you're going to have phase A, B, and C, we're going to pull phases A and B for the first drop, then B and C for the second drop, and then maybe A and C for the third drop, or whatever it may be, because we're going to have one leg that's going to be a higher output than the other 2 legs. So we're working with our electrician to make sure we stay within parameters and stay within safety limits of all the equipment. So we're not, popping fuses or breakers or switch gears or whatever it may be. But all that kind of stuff is temporary. We're ideally looking at those step down transformers from 480 to 240, 480 to 415 so the PDU can spit out 240 correctly. We had a building, Kaiser, that ran off of 208. We weren't super thrilled with it. We had a lot of issues, um, especially with machines and power cycling and everything else. There were some issues with the machines and the PDUs running on 208. So we're going to stick with that higher 240 if we can. We know that the machines run a little bit more efficiently on 240. The higher the voltage you can push through your machine, the lower the amperage rating is going to be. So, 3,200 watts at 240 volts, your amperage is going to be a little bit less than, say, 3,200 watts at 208 volts or 120 volts. So that's kind of why we're trying to stay as optimized as we can without hitting that 277, inefficiency and having to worry about that issue there.
Well, and most of these S19s and the KA3 or anything like that, they won't run unless we modify the PSU to take in 277. So we're not going to sit at the mine and modify every single PSU. Now, if a client asked us to because they wanted to run 6,000 watts off of an APW12, well, that's a different story, but still going to be pushing 240.
Right. Yeah. BBT is probably, another reason he's probably running 277 and running the alpha PDU PSUs is because he's planning on overclocking the crap out of his machines. A lot of our machines, I'd say 70% of the machines in our farm are customers. We're not here to mess up a customer's machine. We're here to turn it on, make sure it runs smoothly for you, and keep it running smoothly and safely. So if you decide to sell it or you decide to pull it out of the mine, the machine is in one piece in its original state. Obviously firmware is completely different, but we want to make sure the machine stays stock manner for you guys as much as we can.
Yeah.
Our stuff, on the other hand, let's throw it at the wall and see what sticks, kind of situation.
Or maybe in a basketball hoop. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
No, but not a huge fan of 208. 240 has done us well. I run 240 I run 220 at the house, but it's still roughly about the same. But yeah, this build out, it took some going. Me being there for a week, I literally felt like I was dead. I still can't feel my pinky toe. I know John is still constantly going there, working on things. He's only one man. So it's, little by little, we'll get things going and getting everything up and running. But we're definitely, people we made promises to, we're getting them up and running and making sure that everybody's taken care of like we promised. So.
Growing pains, guys. Growing pains.
Yeah.
If we had the money, we'd hire people to do it for us, but we don't.
Yeah. Well, and these are good growing pains to have because now, as me and John were talking when we were at the mine, and not that you guys were there to hear our conversation or anything, but we were talking at the mine, so our issue has always been like we were growing, outpacing our growth, and we would run into the power constraint way sooner than we anticipated. And literally any move we did or just making adjustments, period. So this building, with the amount of power that's allotted there, first, we're going to be focusing on this 1.5 megawatt transformer and making sure that we can tap that out as much as we can. And so our current client hosts and our equipment should definitely do that. And then it'll be time to start focusing on the other transformer and looking at the step down transformers that we just showed you on Raptor's website, and basically start to be able to really run the true hot lanes and basically getting airflow moving through. That'll actually really be our next big hurdle, which I think we're trying to pregame that I think, right? Like we
Yeah.
literally had a conversation about it today. We talked about it multiple times when I was out there. Um, Airflow is just going to be the biggest hurdle that we have going forward. And at the end of the day, if we have to, cutting a hole in the roof, which eventually that's the goal anyways. We're cutting a hole in the roof and we're slapping some fans on top. And that's literally where we're gonna, chain out and vent the building. So, but baby steps.
Yeah, no, I mean, some of the hurdles that we've run into so far, besides just miscellaneous things that we have to order and get people up and running, the network. So we had from Monday we moved in, we had a temporary network up and running. Um, I've been working on the network that's in the building, pre-existing, past couple days. The previous tenant just decided to cut all the RJ45 connectors off of the entire umbilical cord for the building. So we have to go through and sound off and tone out all the cables and figure out how we're going to network the system, because there's not just an office building now and a couple machines running in the shop. Now it's an office building and a bunch of offices plus a couple hundred mining machines that all need Ethernet cables and switches and everything else. So we decided to what do you want to say? We decided to kind of pop the cherry in a way and get the Ubiquity switches. I've been hesitant with Ubiquity. I had a bad experience with them, but they've really stepped up their game from what it seems like so far. And I'm pretty impressed with a lot of their switches. I know RPM uses some Ubiquity stuff, but just the remote access and having that kind of capability off my phone, I'm curious to see. And I'll share that with you guys as we go to some of that networking and stuff, because I'm sure that's so much fascinating for you guys. I love it. Yay. Blue Moon says he's passing through. TD was commenting on your sweet sheets there, Mark. Your pink mermaid sheets for your little camp out situation.
I did not take them home. They are still at the mine.
Yeah, he left them for the employee of the month, aka the maid, to clean, make sure they're prepped and ready for him when he comes back out.
Right. Oh, he says Ubiquity is the only way. Well, it's a really good avenue to take. Yeah, we hired a consultant IT wise that's local to the area. We had a conversation with them, basically what we were trying to do and where we need to expand and things like that. And he said that's the way to go. Like, so, we took his advice and that's what we did.
We're getting solicited here for Transformers now.
Yeah, I didn't say that we were technically going, through Raptor to get our Transformers. I'm sure there is a cheaper solution out there for step downs, and definitely take a look at those. But I mean, 1 kVA is not going to handle what we're looking at. So each lane in itself should be at least a 1/4 megawatt. So that right there is roughly about 250 kVA that we need to step down into, and then put basically right next to the rack so we can run the PDUs right off of it. So lots and lots and lots.
Mark wants 250. Mark wants a 1/4 megawatt. I want a half.
Yeah,
that's
well, we're throwing numbers around, but I'm just saying, like, that's this is kind of what we're looking at.
And there's a big price difference between those two transformers.
Oh yes, yeah.
We're looking at like $12,000 for a 1/2 megawatt transformer versus what, 5,500 for a 250. So big price difference, big jump going from a 1/4 megawatt or 300 kVA roughly. You overshoot a little bit to 500 kVA transformer.
Yeah, you got to think about it. So like every 100 is a piece of a megawatt. We have quite a bit of megawatts to utilize. We're going to be spacing out these, creating aisles, and we can go pretty dense on each of these racks. Each rack is what, 24 miners, right? Like just the rack
So
itself.
what's behind you?
Mhm.
Kind of what we're set up right now. It's 6 per shelf, 5 shelves high. We still have room to go 2 more shelves above, so we can go 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 3. 1 on the bottom, 2 on top, and go 8 shelves, and expand that way. But the way we have it kind of structured now is 148 port switch will power 2
One rack.
racks.
Yeah, 2 racks. 2 racks. Yeah.
So yeah, 1 rack behind you, and then you add another leg
One rack
onto
right
it.
next to it. Yep.
So, my lovely wife is watching. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for the sticker.
Yay, stickers. So, yeah. So it's roughly. So back to what I was saying. Roughly the way we have it set up now, and obviously it's subject to change. Depending on how dense we want to run the power, and something with a higher density means more power in a smaller confined area. So right now we have it set up where it's 24 machines roughly per 5 shelves, 6 watt, so on. So it's a lot of heat coming off that one shelf. So the more power we put, the more dense the shelves become, the more heat comes off of them in a condensed area. So we want to spread out that heat, spread out that power as much as we can without wasting space. So that's kind of the mathematical equation that we're trying to figure out right now. Just with what we have running, the 2.5, 3 racks we have going, whatever it is, it's hot in the building. That huge space, that 35,000, 40,000 square foot space is hot. It's heating up. So I have to have all the garage doors open. I have to have all the ACs going. I mean, only 3 of the 5 AC units are actually working right now, but it's still, that's something we got to consider. That's everything that goes into setting up a farm. We're not just creating a wall and taking in 90-degree air and pushing out 120-degree air. We want these machines to last you guys a long time. That's why we're doing it differently than, say, somebody down in Texas or some of these other larger facilities that are being built, where it's just an airplane hangar with a huge 2-story wall of miners that are 15 rows high, pulling in natural air through a filter and dumping it right back outside, where it's going to get picked up by the airplane hangar next to it. We're trying to do this a little differently. Hot air rises, so let's go up. Let's continue the momentum. Let's keep pushing that hot air up and out, away from the building, away from the cool air being pulled in from the bottom.
Yeah.
So we're put a lot of thought and effort into it to do it different and to do it, kind of break the mold a little bit than what everybody else is doing. I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
Dude, we haven't had a chance to do a live in quite a while. We probably should do one next time I'm there. We should have did one while I was there, just so we can go. But we're so focused on making sure that we could get people up and running as quickly as possible that it last week took a lot out of us. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, we took a break for lunch, and we took a break for dinner. And that was pretty much it. We were out straight. I left Mark at the farm probably at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Took my 40-minute drive home. Woke up with my kids at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and then came right back to see to start over again, and wake Mark up and say, "Let's go, bring Mark breakfast." So it was a push. It was some fun stuff. But granted, I do have to say, with everything that happened and how hard we worked last week, it's gone. This is the smoothest, knock on wood, that things have gone from us moving into a new building. And this is our 4th move. 3.5 really. I mean, the co-op was kind of a half a move because there was only 1 rack there. But yeah, this is nice. It's been smooth.
So all we can ask is if any of the hosts that are with us, you're watching this now or later, just bear with us, right? I made some promises, making sure that we could get people up this week. That is still going to happen. So we're working on it. Really, what we're waiting for at this point is just splitters, which I said in our Discord channel. And that's you're going to get the most up-to-date information that you possibly can get on what's going on with the mine, if there's anything specific, particular that we're doing, so on and so forth. Right there in Discord, because we're going to post it there and then start posting it everywhere else, or shoot an email to clients, things like that. Because I know some of them are just not in Discord. But if you're checking this out later on, like I said in Discord, we're waiting on some splitters. And then as soon as those splitters come in, you guys will be up and running. The great thing about this entire setup is everything that we've done thus far is that the power's there, right? It's ready for us to use. Even if we're ready to run a new lane, it's not that difficult. And we have a really good partnership with an electrician locally there. And that guy is, him and his team, literally amazing and way smarter than I could ever be when it comes to all this electrical stuff. And they were there too with us a couple of the days, burning the midnight oil, getting this all up and running. And it was just honestly watching all of this and doing it at the same time, like, it's crazy to think about like how much we did in that small amount of period. We literally got over 0.5 megawatt up and running.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, and you know, if you're watching this, Fred, or Fred's son, Chris, Chris, congratulations on a new baby sister, and Fred, congratulations on a new daughter. He had a baby, you know, as we had scheduled for us to move, so he was still able to kind of sneak away from, you know, from everything going on and family coming in to help us get up and going. So that's huge. You know, that's a big deal. So thank you, and congratulations to you and your family. Try to say something nice.
I know, right?
Right.
We just wanted to get together on a live and kind of just go over some things. We are working on a deal right now because we do need to consume more power. Essentially, we had put out, you know, out in the atmosphere, out in Discord and Twitter and all the other stuff. We need 100 units. Our goal is to have 100 more units powered by the end of the month. That's literally around the corner, a week away. We've locked in about 20 units with new hosts that are coming into the building. So we've trickled that down a little bit. But there is a deal out there right now where we can get some 95T, and I'm sure some of you may have seen it in our Discord channel, 95Ts for basically $500 a pop. And we want to, you know, offer a hosting package with that. So if those that mine with us know, our base rate is 9 cents. If you guys prepay for 6 months, you're at $8.55. And if you prepay for 12 months, you're at 0.801 for a hosting rate. So we want to try to figure out a way, see if somebody is looking or in the market. Essentially, that package would be roughly about $25,000 for 50 or so of them, or less, I should say. I think that's maybe like 45 or 46 of them. So if someone's catching this, you know,
basically it's one rack. So what's behind Mark? 48 machines is roughly $25,000 to $26,000.
Yep.
Plus 6 months for hosting at a discounted rate. That's kind of what we're shooting off. And there's only so many of these machines available. They are used. They were ultrasonic cleaned and taken pretty decent care of from what information Mark was able to kind of glean out of this guy.
There is a 7-day dead on arrival warranty. So if, you know, one does show up, it's dead. We'll send it back and get a new one that's working. And then we're also working on some things tech-wise, trying to figure out repairs and things like that. So we'll have some internal stuff. Otherwise, we always have our external partners that we lean on getting any repairs needed on machines, regardless if it's dispatch or machines that are already sitting in the farm.
Yeah. I think what's also promising about these machines, yes, they are used, but it seems like they've been pretty well taken care of. They have the C55 control board in them. We're still trying to get verification, but it looks like they all have the C55 control board. So that is the Exilink control board. That's the control board that takes Hive. Did you guys hear that? Something scared the crap out of me. So the C55 is the Exilink control board. The Exilink control board takes Hive OS. So even though these machines are 95T out of the box, with Hive, you can see 105, 110, 110 terahash. So you're getting we felt they're a fantastic deal. We'll probably end up picking up some just to have on hand for our farm and ourselves. But, not deals like this don't come around all the time. I mean, I'm going to share the price list with you guys here in a second to kind of show you what our traditional suppliers are offering for machines. And you can kind of, glean how awesome these prices are. So if you are interested in something like that, either now during the live stream or later on catching this, make sure to reach out to Mark because I'm not dealing with it. Make him deal with it. I got other stuff to do. I got KSOs to ship out.
For real.
That's going to have to be our next big purchase. We're going to have to get like a transit van or a Sprinter van or something because these orders keep rolling in like this. My poor little Mitsubishi ain't going to be able to take it.
I was looking at some. I sent you links.
I know.
A couple Broncos there too. You're like, get out of here with that crap.
The Bronco 2s, no Bronco 2s. Give me a full-size Bronco any day of the week. So to get the 500 EA for 95s, you need to order 50.
No.
Just like there's only a number of them available.
So what we need 100 units in our space, right? If you want that price, no problem, dude. You want us to host it? We're here for you. You're already sending machines to us. I know you are. So if that's something you want, let us know. We'll make sure we'll grab them. How many you want or whatever. But essentially, we're trying to put together a package, right, for somebody to snake 50 of them and run them at the mine. But no, the price is good for any of them. We're just literally passing on costs at this point of what they're selling them for and trying to get them to run in the farm. Not try, get them in the farm and run.
Yeah, I mean, we can dive a little deeper. We try to be as transparent as we can to run this building efficiently and to be on Dominion Power's good graces. We need to consume more power of the building. We're not consuming enough. Yeah. This building has been a detriment and kind of a dead zone for Dominion Power for the last 5 years. They've had a transformer that they tested. It's up and running now, but this transformer sat disconnected for 5.5 years. So they want to push as much power to us as they possibly can. So we have an agreement with Dominion to consume a minimum of 3.5 megawatts within the next couple months. We have to consume it, or we're going to get, slap on the wrist. I think it's going to be more than just a slap on the wrist, but
no, yeah, it'll cost us more to run the building. And that's not what we're trying to do. So
right. Well, we'll have to pay a penalty fee on top of our regular bill.
a premium. So at the end of the day, our goal is and always has been to try to get our rate that our hosts pay down. I know we're not the cheapest, especially when it comes to Bitcoin mining. There are the Bitcoin maxis that are just like, your rate is horrendous. And, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we have been working in the background, and you guys have seen that in videos and things that we talk about with PPAs and other things like that, that eventually at some point we are competing with the big guys. and we're going to be doing that the same way we always have been, from the ground up. The only thing is that, again, we need to consume power, and we need to consume it like yesterday. The sooner we can consume this power, the sooner we can start working on what does our next tier look like, rate wise, to get our rate down. And that's one thing. Is yeah, I don't know where I was going to go from there, but
Well,
basically,
we're not brokering out our machines. We're not a
no.
hosting broker. Mark and John, Coastal Crypto, the machines behind Mark, we are hosting them. So we're the ones that have to get the power contract. We're not sending your machines to another facility that's trying to get their own power contract. We're trying to do everything as much as we physically can in-house. And that's the way we've always done things, is in-house. That's it. Mark says, talk about competitors. There's some, we do our best not to name names. You guys can do your research. You know who they are. We are competitive with the people and other companies that are in our space. The difference is we host in our facilities. A lot of those guys are not hosting in their own facilities. They are sending them out to another source, and they're making, 5-6 cents off of the customers that they're brokering out. We don't. What you see with us is what we get. We pass our price on to you, and so on. So a goal for us is to get to that bigger numbers, like Mark was saying, in-house, in our facility, managed by us, so we can lower our tier rates, so we can pass that savings on to you guys. That's how these bigger farms do it, is they sell space to brokers and other hosting services, and we get hit up for it all the time. People contact us all the time. Hey, do you guys have X amount of machines? We have space to fill. We'll give you this rate. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do it in-house because we want to be able to pass that on to you, and see, so you guys can see how this whole operation of hosting really works and how it really happens behind the scenes. So yeah, I another one of my rants. 2 for 2 tonight.
Who is the big guys? They're gone bye-bye. Unfortunately, they are not gone bye-bye. Riot is still here and humming away. MicroStrategy still here, humming away. The big guys have doubled, tripled, quadrupled down. And so us comparing to them, honestly, that's not even our business or our business model or anything like that. So comparing to Riot is just that's black and white, night and day. But
Riot has a board of directors. They have chairman. We don't. Mark and John, we're the chairman.
Yeah, Hut 8, that's a big guy. we want it. We want to get to their level, right? So right now they're finding rates on basically in the desert areas of the United States they're literally dirt cheap, pun intended, and they're able to get lower electrical costs like that. Where in states that are regulated, like Virginia, where our mine is, there are certain things that we need to do to meet stipulations that Virginia legislation has put in. One being that we need to consume 5 megawatts before we can throw a PPA in place, and then at that point, you have more free will of your power, I guess you could say, or a more competitive edge of your power.
We can start bidding out and bringing in. So another thing that just kind of sparked into my head for why, say Riot is getting cheaper rates, and some of these other facilities, like Mark is saying, out in the middle of the desert, is because they're spending millions of dollars to bring infrastructure to the desert. They are building entire city-sized substations in the middle of nowhere. That helps strengthen the grid. That is why the rates are getting so cheaper. They're going to their legislations and say, hey, we're going to build a 50 megawatt substation 100 miles, 200 miles away from any civilization in the middle of Texas desert or Arizona, and we'll allow you to pass power through our substation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that direct line passing through a Riot substation is going to lower cost for them to transmit the power. So for them doing that, they now get a cheaper rate. So that's how they're doing it. They're not just buying cheaper power. They're negotiating because they're putting millions of dollars into building a substation, strengthening a grid, and getting a kickback for bringing that infrastructure to a national network of power. So that's how they're doing it. That's how the big players are doing it with a lot of their money. And we're even seeing Antpool or Antminer starting to come here into the United States to
South Dakota
negotiate those deals. Yeah, South Dakota, to negotiate those deals.
Well, you make mention of that. Like, think about it. Think about like how we've been treated in the past with the power companies that we have had. So not to make this about us, but I mean it's our stream. So
it's always about us. God damn it.
Yeah, it's always about us. Damn it. We have vented multiple times in our live streams to just about how awful we were treated with our previous power company. They said they were crypto friendly, and once basically pen came to paper, they weren't, and I put a hurdle in front of us almost at every single corner of trying to get up and running and trying to figure out more power and just trying to even get a competitive rate. And all of the drama ensued of trying to get this move done. The amount of information that we found out that how crappy our old power company was, and just the shady things that they did just for our account, it's night and day. Like, we came in, started talking to Dominion, who's our energy provider, about taking this building on, bringing it back to life. They have been basically open hands, like, guys, bring it, bring the power in here, use it. We want to start, provide, like John was saying, like, this building's been dormant for 5 years. This has really been a dormant area for Dominion. I'm sure at some point they were probably like, they could be on the verge of, leaving out or, backtracking their territory or something along those lines until we came along. I'm just speculating 100%. And guessing things, but just how friendly they have been to us and just getting everything up and running. I would almost say that they're bending over backwards just to get us up and going. Like, and we're not even asking much of them. It's more of, we did, but we didn't, just because we had a couple hurdles to jump through to make sure we got this taken care of. But still, how friendly they have been to us, and we're very transparent. We've told them exactly what we were doing and how we were doing it, and they were all gung-ho on us getting in and powering up. I even had a conversation with Dominion today. Literally, they called just to check in. Like, that's weird, right? Like,
well, I think what happened was, this is Mark and I really we've touched upon this in our own private conversation yet. So I went out to the mine today, like I do every day, and they had the entire street. So we have a couple streets that surround our building. We're on 36 acres. Again, it's been dead for 5 years. So there's no power to this building minimal power to the building for the past 5 years. So there's a lot of overgrown trees and brush. They had about 6 crews of landscapers stretching about a half a mile up the side street. Our auxiliary access road, the one that's usually gated off, lined up, and they were just going ham. I've never seen a bunch of arborists and landscapers so happy to do work. Like, they must have been, bored out of their minds or something, because they were trimming these trees, just pine trees that have overgrown, like, meticulously, making room for all the lines. It was wild to watch. Far beyond their scope of what they had to do, they were doing it. So it was funny to watch, because they're just out there chopping away, having a good old time.
And Dominion was at the substation multiple times just last week. Yeah. When I was there, that in itself was just shocking, just to see them constantly doing a little bit of here, a little bit of there, trying to get this transformer up and running. Like, it's crazy. And they don't come and check in on us or bother us or anything like that. They're just doing their thing at the substation and making sure that it's, getting up and running.
It's like pulling teeth with the other company.
Yeah.
Hey, can you, we popped the can. Can you come replace it? I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So nice. We don't have to worry about that, having our own.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the things that we're talking about right now, definitely go back and watch like some of the shorts I know we posted a video where, we blew a can, the smoke pouring out of the can on the pole. There's a lot of things. There's one of the videos, like lights are flickering in the actual mine that we were in, the warehouse that we were in. Go check those out, and you can see the progression of just how this is all panning out.
Even our attitudes.
Yeah, I know. We're excited. We're excited. Like, fire's under us now at this point. Like, we're rolling, dude. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're here to help. So the next thing is, just trying to get people into the mine and up and hashing and hosting and just continue the growth. I don't trust the so-called big boys. Yeah, me neither. But eventually, you got to play nice. So
yeah. I mean, the guy from Riot that I met in Washington when I went to my conference, really polite guy, knew nothing about cryptocurrency mining. So maybe he was new. Maybe, yeah, we'll say he was new.
Did you two get out my favorite restaurant while in Buchanan? So yes, we did. We found it. We also found Bates Motel, which was pretty scary. So I definitely may not be visiting that restaurant again. But the beer was cold. John's cup leaked a little bit. I liked a hurricane that they had. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling my normal drink that I have. And what did we have there? We just had appetizers.
Crab dip and some mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, which, I mean, it was all good. It's good.
And then we discovered they had a bar around the corner that we could have been sitting at the whole time.
The whole time. We didn't go on the patio or nothing like that. We just stayed in like the main room right in front. People were looking at us weird in the window as they were walking up. Either way. But no, there's another bar in the area that me and John really fell in love with. I know that's maybe strong, but good food, good people, very small atmosphere, and
I mean, look at us. We have beards. We're tattooed. We have piercing. I mean, high-end bars, nice places, family restaurants don't welcome us. So we like to find the hole in the wall, and we feel comfortable. Cheap beer and loud music.
And a quesadilla. That's
a quesadilla.
You can't go wrong with that. Your rate is fair, and it's a peace of mind. My equipment is within driving distance. Yeah. So here's what's happening next week. I am renting a car. I am filling everything up at the house except for maybe a couple pieces of small box miners. And we're taking it straight out to the mine. So I'm going to be driving 3 days out to the mine full of GPU rigs, basically, because that's really all I have at the house here. And we're going to be, installing those, getting those up and running once I get there. And again, we got to consume power. So we're just going to be running thing, even if it's at a loss, regardless, whether it's Dynex, Radiant, whatever it is. We'll probably have them on Radiant. A lot of the rigs that I had before I shut them down were on Radiant. It's just too hot here too. 120 degrees regularly is too much for the graphics cards. But we need to run. We need to consume power. So those guys got to go out there.
Did you see this? We need some more information on this one. What you got going on here? Is this one of our machines that you sent back to us that we sent out? Or is this something new you ordered? Or you sent out for RMA? Need some more information, buddy. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, that's weird. I know Kaiser keeps hitting up Red Panda Mining about a KS3L2. It's so weird. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh, he said not us.
Okay, so that's fine. That's what. Thank God it's not us. Just a heads up. There's still a lot of restrictions inside China. So a lot of times what happens is equipment will either land in small provinces or be stored in small provinces and get trucked under the radar to Hong Kong, some of the larger provinces. So that may be what's going on for you. Maybe it landed in a small area, and in a couple of days with a big batch, it'll get kind of trucked into a larger area for repair if that's what you got going on, and then it'll get trucked out, shit, and so on. So there's a lot of under the radar type stuff that they got going on over there with ASICs and mining.
So. And some of these other, is it a township cooperative? And then someone else said, Pellish Miner said, they're within a village or near Buchanan. As far as I know, it's not a township. It's literally a street. They have a bank, a couple bars, and a car show. Oh, and one of those old-timey movie theaters. It is very small. Do I know exactly what it is? A township? It's not a city. Let's just leave it at that. Village? Yeah, that sounds about right. So here's a fun story of when we first started unloading into the mine. Into the new mine. Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, that just got even way more interesting. So apparently, if I'm getting this correctly, Kaiser sent it to be hosted from a U.S. company, and they brokered it out to China for him.
What the?
We know of somebody here on the East Coast that does that. What's a pun I can use for his name so I don't have to
No, you're talking. He's on the West Coast. If I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, West Coast, right? The guy that has his address is the house when you pull up his company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Everlasting.
Yeah, the opposite of everlasting, right? Everlasting minus.
Yeah.
Sorry, that got me.
So this is how small the area is, right? Or like just the population. So you may have seen a short video on YouTube of me driving a boom lift, a cherry picker basically, and it ran on propane. It ran on gas too, but the gas was I don't know. I think that machine has been in there just as long as this place has been vacant, at least.
I think some else forgot about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we ran. Yeah, we didn't rent it. So we ran out of gas, ran out of propane. So we decided, okay, we're gonna go up. There's a place not too far that they, gave propane out. It was a little later in the day. Took the can out, drove up there to try to go get some propane before they closed. We got there, they closed. I saw them standing there by the door, so I kind of just knocked. I'm like, "Do you guys closed? Like, we need propane for our thing." And they're like, "Well, how many tanks do you have?" And we just said, "Just one." And they're like, "All right, we'll go. Yeah, we are closed, but go in the back. We'll help you out." And so we get in the back and we're like, "Okay, well, do you want us to go back up front to pay?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going to chase you around. Just come back in the morning or sometime tomorrow or whenever and pay the difference for it."
And we're like,
yeah, we're like, what? I mean, you don't get that. You're not going to get that. Not even where we were in Roanoke. Like, that's just not going to happen. They're like, "No, you need to pay." You need to pay. And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna chase you for, 8 gallons of propane. Just come back and pay when you can."
So, like, you got to continue with the story too, because it gets better. So we get back to the shop and start running it, and I'm trying to turn the valve, and I snap the valve off the propane tank. So, the safety kicks in, and we can't, the propane that we just got for free is now useless. So we ended up having to go back the next morning anyways, and we explained the situation to the guy. So instead of charging us for both propane tanks, he charged us for like only 10 gallons worth of propane, and we got close to 20. I think we got like 17 or 18 gallons of propane. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna charge you for 10, whatever." And it's like, wow.
Yeah,
nice guy. Thank you. Get your bait, your ammo, and your firearms all one place, along with all your hand tools and landscaping.
Exactly, dude. No, it's amazing. Honestly, the small little area, it really is a great place. Like, it's awesome. All right. So what else do you guys got? I mean, we haven't been live in a while. I know you guys are doing things. Oh, Panda owes him a KS3L, he says. We have a good chunk of them coming in. So we just signed a host who had a few of them. Signed him today, and he's bringing in some KS3Ls. They're supposed to arrive yesterday. So hopefully he did get them. And then we have someone that's going to be hosting with us with a good chunk of them. So we'll have some KS3Ls around the mine. That'll be cool, and seeing kind of where that takes place, especially over the next 12 months. We'll kind of go from there and see what happens. So let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the gas station is across the street from the restaurant.
Hold on. Pellish, if you keep talking, I'm going to have to send you an NDA, my friend.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's not narrow it down completely, all right? But no, me and John actually talked about that, though, about just being in the little town and just kind of what kind of wildfire happened, because we've already been called from the city. Hey, no, did we get an email? No, I think we got a call. Hey,
phone call. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, basically. And they're like, hey, we know you see you guys moving in. We would love to converse and yada, yada, yada.
How many people are you hiring?
Yep.
Economic Development Board wants to meet you. That whole thing. It's like, oh. I mean, well, I got to remember the building that we're in at one point in time had about 150 to 200 employees. So now it's just Mark and John.
Yeah. But when I was on the phone call today with Dominion, I was telling them kind of just what the plans were, what we're looking to do, invest wise, into the building itself, and just everything we're doing basically over like the next year or so, or even longer. And one of the goals was, I told them, I was like, we plan on hiring at least 100 people. Like, there's a lot. The mine does a lot of different things, but also there's a lot of tedious little things that one person can't do. So there's gonna be we're gonna be looking at creating jobs. Hopefully we can feed the area. Me and John were talking, because the first thing we want to get off our plate, or at least John's plate, is shipping and receiving. Like, we need to focus on, me and John need to focus on growth, right? So that just needs to be our primary focus. So I told John when we were there, we were having a conversation, I should really say, and I said we need to hire someone locally, someone that can be here and chill, someone from the area, just so we're supporting the community that we're in. Yep. Similar like what we do with Twitter/X or whatever you want to call that app these days. Supporting the community that we're in.
Charge his account, and I host it with you.
That's funny.
Done.
RPM, you owe us 40 grand. Or how much ever they're going right now.
Local zoning, yeah. We have 36 acres, and half of it gets taken care of by a local farmer for hay. So what zoning? What are you talking about? Yeah. The next thing I want to do is I want to walk the property a little bit, because there is a river that runs behind our property, through part of it, that I want to kind of explore and stuff. Get some 4-wheelers for my kids.
Wait until I get there so we can go walk around, do a walkabout.
Mark, we don't walk. When I said walk, I meant get a go-kart and drive.
Get some goats to eat and cut the grass. They
had a full crew out there. So, we're the building. So the whole property is 36 acres. The building and the parking lot is on, I think, about 10. So you got 26 more acres full of pasture. And they had a full crew out there, baling hay, doing the whole thing. So I think it's a tax write-off for the property itself, and they get some kind of kickbacks. I know that's what they do in Virginia for some of this open land. But that river has great fish. See? Perfect.
Great fishing. Yeah. It was kind of low when we were there earlier, but it really was dry this last week. It's so hot.
Yep. But What else you guys got going on? Let it, if you have any questions about the mine, what can we answer for you? Those are S19s running behind Mark.
120 Ts.
Yep. The racks that we have ordered are 18 inches by 96 by 10
120.
feet.
Yeah, 120.
120. So smash the like button, get 50% off with promo code. There you go.
$50 off. Promo code Kaiser. There you go. He's pulling an RPM right now. I was just gonna. Can't remember now. One thing that I'd really like to do going forward is basically document like how, even though like this is going to be temporary for when our initial setup, but how we can reutilize existing infrastructure, because I think that's like nobody talks about that. Like you see people that are gearing up bigger things. I guess the only notable one would be BBT, YouTube wise, right? Like big scaled farm solutions like this.
Yeah,
He
Ryan
just
doesn't post a whole lot.
no. So BBT, he just dropped containers next to a substation. The property itself is the energy company's property, right? Whoever he's getting his energy from. So you don't really, what you're seeing is just a new slate, blank slate being built out. We haven't really seen too many things where, somebody's taking some infrastructure like this, old abandoned buildings, and repurposing it and putting it back to work. I know it's being done constantly, regularly, but it's always the quiet guys, right? Like they're not trying to document their journey or anything like that. They're just trying to do business and get paid. So we have a reputation to keep. We gotta show our journey and how we're gonna be retrofitting, especially this first transformer that is just spitting out 240, because that's literally something like a home miner would get stuck at. Right? Someone that's really trying to expand, they would get stuck at that.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want, I can hop up on the ladder and I can pop open one of the drops, the cans, and do a readout when Mark's here. So just in case I get electrocuted, he can call 911. But I can do a readout for you. We can show you what we're talking about and how we're doing the drops. If that's something you guys want to see, let us know. Shoot us a message, either Discord, Twitter, here on YouTube. If that's the kind of stuff you want to see more of, let me know. We'll do it. I got to be kind of forced to do it. I'm not gonna, I got so much stuff going on. I need to be asked. So if that's something you guys want to see, you got to tell me. I try to still do the tear downs on the new machines that come in. Trying to keep up with the shorts. But yeah, I think Mark is right. We need to definitely start documenting more of this little stuff that we're doing to make things work. We're utilizing old infrastructures to make things work. That's always fun.
Pellish, I want to hit the lottery so you guys can host all my stuff. Hit the
We want
lottery.
to hit the lottery so we can host our own stuff.
Dude, honestly, if we had a good chunk of change, if we had not spent all the money we spent to get in this building, those 95 Ts would be gone. Like they'd be sitting, they'd be on their way basically to the mine. Nobody would have them but us.
So, hey, if you want to buy some machines, let us know. There's about 500 of them.
Yeah.
Whatever, come get them. We'll put them in storage for you. Because next bull run, they'll be worth some big money.
Yeah. So just keep in mind the price that we went over, though, that doesn't include shipping. So let's, we'll figure that out. How many units per rack? He says. So I know we said that earlier, but 48, I think, right?
So 2
24.
racks, so 24.
Yeah, 24 per 10-foot rack. So 10 feet wide. No, 96
by 120 is 24 units. We're not utilizing the full 120. We're only using for 5 shelves, 96 inches, 8 feet, 24 units.
So here we go. So how many? 24 units. So basically right now, for every rack that we have set up, we have just almost 50 units but that's 2 of them long distance wise. Next question is, what are your thoughts on the price drop of the KSOs? Would they drop $100 on Ice Rivers, and literally it's the only machine in stock?
That doesn't make a difference to us. We already ordered all yours, so we're just waiting for them to ship.
Yeah.
I
like you. I know someone was selling theirs, and you made them I would say a reasonable offer for a used one on Twitter earlier. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I would say that's probably your price point right now. And I don't know if you've seen the post on Twitter, and I'm sure it went through Discord and everything like that too. We have marked the KSO out of stock. I think that at this point, until it does come down to maybe a few $100, it's not worth the time. And then at that point, when it does come down to a few $100, it's not worth our time to source them.
If you want them, we can always get them.
Yeah,
but we're not actively listing.
No, so we're not actively listening. Right. I'm not going to really talk about them anymore. If you DM me asking me where yours are, I'm just going to ignore you at this point. No, I mean, I will, but not, I'm also being funny.
Okay. Kind of take a step back. So 84 kW per rack. So we at this point at the scale that we're at, we can calculate out the kW for you, but we're looking at amp draw. So each 48, so that's 24 plus 24, 48 machines per drop. It's a 600 amp drop. Just to kind of put that in retrospect for you guys, that's just about our capacity of the last building we were in.
Oh, we had more than that, but we cheated. We cheated to get more than that.
we got in trouble for getting more than that. So at the end of the day, one of the reasons why we had to move is because the power company started to limit our power. Because we kept on blowing transformers, but that's another story. So yeah, one 148 setup is 600 amps roughly. So you're looking at about 300 per 24 machines, give or take, depending. It all depends on the model of machine that's running. So we try to base everything off of 3,200 watts because that's kind of the give or take right now with all the machines that are out there. E9 Pros are a little bit more. S19 151s, 141s are a little bit higher. So $1,200, $3,000 per machine is kind of what rough number we're using to calculate. So 400 amp breakers boxes for each rack. 3 200s is what we're using.
Yep. And then so the bus bar is a 600 amp bus bar, and we're literally using every single drop of that amperage. And that's going back to the 1.5, which is all the way in the back behind John there. And that 1.5 has 6 or 8? 600 amp breakers that also have dials on them to where you can increase and decrease that a little bit. So there's 600 amp breakers there, 600 amp bus bars, and essentially we are trying to utilize every single one of them, but we're not yet. So we're going to the max and then trying to kind of like when we first turned this first rack on, like we took it straight to 600 right off the bat, blew a fuse in the boxes up above, had to replace the fuse. And then as we started balancing, so we took a machine away here, added a little bit lower of a machine, amperage wise or wattage wise, mixing in the E9 Pro, or let's say like an LB light miner or something along those lines, something smaller, just so we can again blend and balance the line enough to keep everything running smoothly. So 600 amps.
Yeah, 200 amp drops, 60 machines per drop. You know, break down a little further for you. There you go. So, but yeah, we're looking at amperage. That's kind of our key point right now, to get to that megawatt.
He wants us to price out what an Acadie light would look like.
Are you looking right now? You're looking right now, aren't you?
Yeah, so here's one thing. So it's a Acadie light run 2,600 watts, really? That doesn't sound right.
I thought it was only like, I thought it was less than that.
Yeah.
Are you on mine the ASIC, or what side are you on?
No, I just grabbed whatever was in Google.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. No, we could price this out. Make things simpler. Acadie light is like 1,300 watts, he says. So this is how we do our pricing at the mine. So again, if we're just going to be doing monthly billing, 9 cents a kilowatt hour, flat rate. There's no extra fluff in there unless you want to pay your bill with a credit card. Then add 5% to whatever your bill is, because the credit card processor, PayPal, they charge us 5%. Acadie, like profitability. Oh, you know what?
Profitable.
It's not profitable. Yeah, so basically what we'll do is the way we calculate, it's 1,330 watts. So the way that we calculate how we're setting you up, right? So if you source with Coastal Crypto, so if you got the Acadie light through us, we charge you 1%, 1 month of assumed power consumption. Where is my calculator? Here it is. And so we can easily do that with this guy right here, an electricity cost calculator. So
there's a bunch of them out there. This is just an example.
Yeah, that's just an example. So 9 cents a kilowatt hour, 24 hours a day, $87.44 a month. So say you bought that machine through us, we would charge you $87.44 to start the process, right? To start service with Coastal Crypto. What you can expect then, if you're paying monthly, is you're paying roughly about $87.44, plus or minus any spikes or downtime. Most of the time, it's just downtime. And we use multiple factors of, well, yeah, if it's going to be any different than that, it'll be because the machine went down for some reason, right? These kind of machines don't really spike that much. Now, the S19 120s, on the other hand, they spike continually, regularly. So, and that's why their average wattage is a lot higher, and the average is calculated. And this is why we also calculate it based off of assumed power consumption, because there are spikes. I know a lot of people right now are saying that there's the KS3Ls are averaging less consumption wise when they look at the meter, but they're not taking in consideration that there might be a spike here and there. So you may see every now and then when you're looking at it that the machine might be running at like 2,800 watts, but Ice River put on their website, that it's roughly about 3,200 watts, and I'm assuming that that's because there are some type of power spikes within the machine at some point that probably brings the average up a little bit more. I'm not saying it's 3,200 watts, and I know there have been YouTubers out there that have already put things to the wall that show 2,800 watts, but you're seeing a glimpse of something at any given time that video was done, and them saying, well, here's my 24-hour average, when in reality, you need to monitor it for 24 hours on multiple systems to see where there may be a spike or not. And I'm assuming that the KS3 and the KS3L probably have some spikes here and there. But either way, besides the point, back on track. So essentially, to start service, $87.44. If you were to source that machine from outside, just take that number, $87.44, times it by 2, and that's your deposit. And basically what your deposit is again, to start service with us. And if we need to get something special, to basically run your machine. Like in this case, we might have to get a C19 conversion plug for what we're running off of the panels that we're running that only have a certain C13 plug. We use very thick C13 plugs because most of these machines take C13s. So, but there are some gold shells like the Light series where they take a C19. And so we'll have to go get a little bracket if we don't already have some, and essentially it's covering that. It's covering something to get your machine running. So it's not just something, we're going to the bank with your deposit. We're literally reinvesting that into the mine, some way, shape, form. And then again, it's 9 cents a kilowatt, flat rate. So your bill should roughly come out to $87.44 each month if it is running 1330 watts per month. Plus or minus any spikes or downtime. We do have, you can always go to our website too to check out the hosting contract. Do I have our website up? Sure don't. I'm like literally shilling all of our business right now. It's so hilarious. Thank you for that, Pellish. Thank you. Can we get rid of the pop-up too? Hosting. All right. So let me share my screen. So if you go to our website, coastalcryptomining.com, there is a hosting tab right at the top. Hosting. Click that. You got here. And it basically breaks down our entire costs. So we're 9 cents a kilowatt hour. You get discounts, 5% if you pay 6 months in advance. That equals out to about 0.0855. 12 months equals out to 0.081. And that's just basically what you pay. And all you're doing really is you are paying your power for, the entire 6 months, or you're paying it for 12 months. And if there is downtime or something along those lines, we start applying credits. So at the end of your term, you either have a balance that basically you can utilize to the next contract, or you can add a machine or whatever the balance is, which basically adjust accordingly so you can continue to grow or take it on with you. But you can go ahead and click, and here's a draft of our hosting agreement, which did not turn to the page. So one thing I wanted to show on our hosting agreement. So again, we're transparent. So if someone wants to see our hosting agreement just to see the terms, we're going to give it to you. Put it on the website. This eliminates questions to us too. So it's less explaining to you if you guys can just see it, right? So
one question we do keep getting, because the whole 6 and 12 month thing is fairly new. It is something we recently rolled out, and we get this question a lot, and just kind of maybe we'll make a short out of this, kind of just reiterating this point. With us, you pay for what you use. So having a 6 and 12 month contract, at the end of the day, you're still paying for what you use. So we drew an audit on your account. If you have 20 S19s and you paid for 6 months up front at a calculated consumable power rate based upon manufacturer's specifications, but you don't consume that, like over the course of 6 months, you had maybe a 96% uptime. That money can either be rolled into another contract, or it can be reimbursed to you. So, or it can be used for repairs. We don't just throw. I mean, every time we get one of these long-term contracts, the money is held within a specific account for that contract. So every month it's drawn upon to pay that person's power bill. So there's an outstanding balance at the end of the 6 month contract, or there's the 12-month contract. So that's kind of more or less how we're doing it, trying to make it an incentive for you guys to keep hosting with us for another 6 months or another 12 months, and rolling over the contracts. If that's not something you feel comfortable doing, that's why we have the month-to-month contract. And again, you only pay for what you guys consume with us. And we do, monthly power reports that get generated for each customer.
Yeah. The only additional fees that we have here, merchant fees, these are optional also. So it's just depending on how you pay, right? You decide to use a credit card, right? 5% processing fee. Again, that's just what our credit card processor charges. Just passing that on. Depending on how you pay with crypto, we do have an automated service through our invoicing system through AAA. They charge us 1%. That is just passed on through, and it's calculated when you deposit your crypto through the automated system of AAA. However, if you were to do peer-to-peer, because we do have a couple clients that are adamant on peer-to-peer, the only thing you're paying is just the transaction fee it takes from A to B when it comes to the crypto, and that's again not our fee, that's the network fee. So what you're paying from us, there is no additional fee included. And then if you're processing a bank transfer, wire or ACH, whatever your bank charges for that. If it's free, cool. If not, this is literally it. If you don't pay your bill, we turn your machines off. It's that simple. And then this is the last optional fee that we have. And this is $225 per month. And basically what this entails, so let's say you have like an older machine, right?
Or a lot of machines.
Yeah, whatever it is. Hashboard goes bad, machine's out of warranty. Essentially what this will do, you pay this monthly. We put it in an escrow account held in for this case. Again, it's not refundable. So essentially it's an account built for if your machine goes down, we essentially will replace the bad board that is on a machine or machines, or we just replace the machine outright. And that's the reason it's not refundable, because machines get expensive, especially once we get into the bull run. This will get crazy. So essentially, this really isn't selected on newer machines because most of them have like a 12-month warranty period that you can utilize, and a lot of the machines in our mine are newer, but this would really come in handy for someone that has a lot of ancient S17s or something along those lines, and they just pay this, and as soon as one goes bad, we just take care of it. We notify you, hey, so and so, this machine went bad, and here are the steps that we're taking.
I mean, even at that point, Mike, you're saying T17, S17s. A lot of the L7s are out of warranty right now.
Yeah.
So that would cover, an L7 going bad or an L7 hashboard. So just to kind of give you a reference, if you have an L7 hashboard go down, it's for us to get it fixed. It's between $100 for diagnostic and $100 to get it fixed. So you're looking at $200 right there per hashboard to get it repaired. This is not something I'd say a small guy would do with 2 or 3 machines. This is the guy that has a rack and a half or a rack full of machines, 48 machines. $225, $250 covers all of them for something to happen. That's why it's non-refundable. So we didn't see anybody else doing it, so we thought we would throw it in our contract.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to help. It's an optional thing, though. It's not something you need to opt in for. And I'll straight up tell somebody, look, man, your machine's new. You got 12 months. You want to do it later? Cool. If not, it's not a mandatory thing. So it's not a fee that we just put it on there. If you opt in, great. If not, most of the machines that we have, again, are under warranty.
10 KS3s host to own. What, do you want us to buy them for you and host them for you?
Isn't that what Rabbit Mining did? Like, not to drop names or anything like that. He just got 3 KS3s or something like that through somebody, and he's paying the power. They're taking all the crypto, the Caspa, until the machine is paid off, I think, or something like that. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. We do offer a layaway program for people that we are friendly or close with, but even then, You miss a payment, you miss a payment, like your money's gone. So like we're legit worse than Kmart when it comes to or Walmart when it comes to like a layaway thing. But most of the people that have opted into that just because they wanted the hot chick at that point, whatever it was at that given time, the Jazz Minor, this KS3, KSO, whatever it is, they paid up. They paid up quickly. So it's just something that we can hold the spot. Let's just try to, let's get paid and get this thing out to you because you're not getting it until you pay the balance in full. But no, we work with people. We try to make any deal we possibly can happen if we can. Right?
If we can.
Yeah, if we can. All right.
So. All right. Did we cover everything? We covered all the updates. We did this move completely on our own, out of our own pockets. So bear with us again. We had no additional finance or help. We tried to get it just to kind of make things easier, but nothing seemed to really pan out. So Mark and I just did it ourselves like we always do, which takes a little bit longer, but in in the long term, it kind of is better for us. Less debt to take on. Just things happen a little bit slower. So bear with the process. But if you want to help us, drop us a line. Let us know what you got going on.
Yeah, we got some beer we can throw your way.
Yeah.
You just got to put some machines on a rack.
Yep. So, but as always, guys, we do appreciate you. You guys are awesome. The few guys that do pop in to watch the lives, I know a lot of you pick it up as we break it down into shorts and to other clips. But we do appreciate all the time and sticking with us and hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button if you're new. You can always reach us on the website, reach Mark on X or Twitter X, whatever it is. Discord. I'm very rarely here anymore. I'm so busy. So Mark usually has to fill me in on what's going on, but we're around. We'll answer as many questions as we can, and we'll start trying to get back on a schedule for the live streams. But until next time, guys, we appreciate you. Take it easy.